This is lesson 1.1 for Kurzweil 3000 web-based version, in which you will open a document, change view, and audio options. So the first thing you need to do is open up Google Chrome by clicking on that icon. In the address bar, you're going to type kurzweil3000.com and then just press enter on your keyboard to go to that program. This brings you to the home page where you're going to type your username, which is always, well, usually it's the first initial of your first name, then your last name, and then MPC. Some people have a little variation in that, but usually that's the format. We all have the same password, which is MPC12345. And then you click on this login button. This brings you to the home page here, where we have the Universal Library. Now all of your books, your textbooks for your classes will be, if they are scanned in, they will be scanned into your folder. So if you logged in under your username, this will have your name here. Since I logged in under my username, my name is here. I just want to show you where your textbooks would be if they were scanned in. They're going to be living in this public folder that lives in your folder. If I click once on that, this screen is populated and my textbooks would be here. Okay, but right now we're not going to work with that. I'm going to close up my folder. I just wanted to give you a peek at where your books would be. So we're going to open up some shared documents are living down here. We're going to open up something from the samples folder. In order to do that, you click on this triangle next to samples. We're going to go to the Passport Reading Journeys file folder. Click once on that to populate this box here. Today we're going to open up It Takes a World to Make a Shoe by clicking once on that. Okay, so we're going to be first thinking about the view. The options that you have in regards to how Kurzweil looks. This icon right here that looks like a page with some writing on it and a magnifying glass, when I rest my cursor there, you'll see it says View. So I have several options here. The first thing I want you to think about is your document zoom. So this is the size of the text on the page. I'm going to come over here for a minute just to scroll down so you can see the size of the words. I'm not going to worry much about the size of the title, but I want you to see the size of the reading that you're going to be doing. So if I just slide this little button around, that enlarges and shrinks the size. I'm going to leave it about there. So you need to adjust that according to what's most comfortable for you. The other option you have here that I want you to think about is your background color. If you click on this little triangle, it exposes 8 different choices that you have. Mine is set to sky because that's my preference, but you have 8 different choices there. So to try them, you just click once on it, on your color choice. It disappears and it shows you again. I'm going to scroll down to see what that looks like. Okay, I'm going to come back up here. I'm going to change mine back to sky, but I want you to go through these choices and choose what feels most comfortable for your eyes. Okay, so I've adjusted the size of my text and the color of my background. Now what I want you to do is think about your audio options. When I rest my cursor over this lock washer and this thing that looks like a speaker, you'll see that it says audio options. So I have some choices here. Oops. My first choice is the voice that's going to be reading to me. I also have reading speed, and I have something called unit and mode. As you're doing your reading, I want you to be thinking about these 3 choices that you have. So first of all, unit and mode work together to tell Kurzweil how much of a chunk you want it to read before it automatically stops. Now, if this were set to continuous, why I don't recommend that is that Kurzweil will continually read, regardless of whether you're understanding what you're reading or not. And the nice thing about if you put it to self-paced, which is what I recommend, and then make one of these choices, which probably will be by paragraph or by sentence, Kurzweil will automatically stop every paragraph or every sentence, which forces you to check in and just make sure you're understanding what you're reading, and then decide if you want to read that paragraph or sentence again or continue. So it just gives you a chance just to make sure that you're understanding what you're reading and paying attention. Okay, so I'm going to have you make sure it's on self-paced, and then make one of these choices up here to tell it how much of a chunk you want it to read. Okay, the other thing is the reading speed. So right now you'll see mine is set to normal. If I click here, it speeds it up to fast, +2 fast, +3 fast, or I can slow it down. It goes into negative numbers, -1 slow, -2 slow. Okay, so you can decide, adjust your speed as you're reading with using this. And then also, if we come here, you'll notice there are a lot of different voices. The only U.S. English voices are up at the top. There's 6 of them. It says U.S. English. So there are other English voices down here, but they have accents. There's Australian accent, United Kingdom English accent. There are some Spanish accent voices. So for your purposes today, just select one of the first 6 voices. I'm going to keep mine set to Heather, but what I want you to do as you read is to think about the voice and change it to one of these, just playing around with finding a voice that you prefer there. Okay, so you're going to be reading the first page, which for this document it's actually page 4. You'll see right here it says page 4, and there's 4 to 7 pages. If you don't think you're on the first page, the way you would do that is type page 4 and just say go. Yep, it's still there. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down again to expose my reading here. I'm going to click once right here to make sure that Kurzweil starts reading there. I don't want it to read the title right now. So my read button is right here. I'm going to click once on this to have it read to me. This is going to turn it into what's called a pause button. So when I want to pause reading, I also click on that button. So let me show you. I'm going to click once on this triangle.
Do you own a pair of sneakers? Are you wearing some now? Maybe you call them athletic shoes, gym shoes, running shoes.
Okay, so I just paused the reading, and as you will have noticed, Kurzweil highlights the paragraph it's reading. It highlights each word as it's reading it. Let me just do that a little more.
Or tennis shoes, whatever you call them. Almost everyone wears them.
Okay, I'm pausing that again. Okay, so again, as you do your reading, make sure to adjust those choices that we just reviewed, and then you're going to answer 3 questions that are on your tutorial. And then you're going to log out by going up here to the upper right-hand corner and click on Log Out. Okay, and then the very last thing you're going to do is close the window just by clicking on this X in the upper right-hand corner.